Thank you, Chair, for the kind introduction. I am Blessed Okole from the CSR, and I'm going to present on innovative agro-processing technologies, contribution to socioeconomic development. The presentation outline is as follows: what is agro-processing, the platforms that we have at the CSIR, the history of agro-processing research at the CSIR, agricultural value chains, agro-processing interventions, and then the collaborations that we are looking at. What is agro-processing? Everybody wants to know, what is agro-processing? Agro-processing is the conversion, transforming of raw agricultural products into different physical states to satisfy market requirements. This is the FAO definition of agro-processing. And then people also talk about value addition. What is value addition? It implies to adding value to a product after which a buyer is willing to pay a price for the product or more than the cost of inputs used in the process. And then one other key term I wanted to discuss is the value. This value can be added to products with or without changing physical form. You can either clean your fruits, you can either grade it, you can either label it, you can either add ingredients into it. All that is value addition into your product. At the CSR, we have 3 key platforms. We don't want to do a lot because we have our sister institution, also the ARC, that is also doing agro-processing, but we decided to focus at the high-end level of agro-processing. So what we do is mainly beneficiation and valorization, functional food, alternate proteins, and then post-harvest technology. Those are the 3 key platforms that we have at the CSIR. And what do we do there? We implement advanced agro-processing technologies to support the competitiveness of businesses, valorization of biodiversity, to support the socioeconomic development. The second platform, which is functional food, what we are basically doing is to increase the protein value of foods, and we've realized now that there are many ready-to-eat products in the market, so we see how we can, you can leave your office, buy something from the shop, and you know you are eating something that has a lot of protein and a lot of nutrients. And then the third one, that's a platform that we are still building on the post-harvest technologies. So what we want to achieve basically is to use advanced agro-processing technologies to beneficiate raw products, including, we focus a lot on indigenous knowledge, and most of the products which I'll show you in my slides later are mainly done with what we have here in South Africa. We play a key role in functional food, alternate protein, and then the post-harvest. And what are the priority subsectors we are looking at? We are looking at the rural farms and processors, indigenous knowledge, and we'll work mainly also with local governments and with the national government, and also SMMEs and the private sector. At the end, what do we want to do? We want to create more jobs. The president said agro-processing is going to create lots of jobs, so this is what we're trying to create. The CSR Agro-Processing Group, food group, has been one of the oldest. It started since 1963, as you can see from the board, and it was called National Food Research Institute. That was a long, long time ago, and they prepared several hundred food extracts. In fact, initially when it started, it was supposed to do in vivo toxicity of most of our indigenous plants, and they did a lot of work on that, and we are building on that knowledge that has been archived at the CSIR. And how do we work? We work as a value chain. So this is just an example of a project that we are doing. We try to work with the public sector, and also we work with the partners and with the private sector. So for example, if you look at the top slide, that is the public sector. This is a project on Morula, which we are going to initiate this year. We work with all these institutions in the government, and then this is where we focus. Like I said, we look at primary processing, secondary processing, and advanced processing. This is done by our other partners, and we also try to partner with people who are in the industry, and these are some of the potential licensors that we are going to license the product. And what capabilities do we have? We have a lot of, CSI is a very big institution, 2,500 employees, with almost around 800 PhDs. So it's a lot of expertise in one institution. And we have expertise in our own agro-processing group. We have expertise in process chemistry, process and product development, right up to cosmetics formulation and product formulation. We also incubate. We have an incubator there in the CSI. It's called Biomanufacturing Industry Development Center. And they've done a lot there in the agro-processing sector. This is just what they've done in agro-processing. They don't incubate only for agro-processing, but this is some of the products that they've done. They've incubated 31 enterprises, 89 products, 183 new permanent jobs created, 87 interns, and 14 licenses. So how does it work? We work with the Department of Science and Technology or with the Department of Agriculture. People put out the we send it in the papers and there's expression of interest. We outline the areas where people want to work in, and they come into this, they give them some funds, they come into the CSIR. Some of the projects we work with the Innovation Hub so that we don't give them just the technical knowledge, we give them the technical knowledge, they produce a product, then they work with the Innovation Hub and also have the business knowledge also so that they can start new enterprises. These are some of the interventions that we have at the CSR. Process and product development, R&D translation, mainly on fruits, grains, vegetables. We can scale up piloting in bioprocessing from bench scale. That's almost 1,000-liter scale. We can do that at the CSR. We can also pilot in agro-processing from bench scale to 400-liter scale. Product testing, packaging. That's very important for a small entrepreneur to have the right package and also to test your product so that you have what is the nutritive content of your product. We can do all that at the CSR. We do group training, facility layout and design, validation and localization of technologies, and also canning and labeling and process validation. So those are some of the interventions that we can do at the CSR. This is just a new project which I'm very much interested in, which I am heading, is on a ready-to-eat high-protein sorghum biscuit and porridge. University of Pretoria has done a lot on that also, so we're trying to create that kind of collaboration with them. But we are working also with the industry partner, which is Impilo Food. What we've done here is that we've created a high-protein sorghum biscuit. It's around over 18% protein content, and also a porridge, which is also very high in protein, and we did our techno-economics, which we normally do before we can release the product to the farmer. It is very, very cheap, but right now we are at the ethics stage. I just wanted to show you some of the good things we are doing at the CSR. And this is another project which we are going to start this year also on Morula. If you all know about, in Morocco, they have a product called argan oil. Many ladies will know about this oil in the market. We want to make Morula also to be something like that in South Africa. And those are the kind of game-changing industry products we're kind of looking at. Look at a product, see how we can use technology to change the whole industry. We're going to do that at the CSR within the next 3 years on changing this Morula oil. They are doing some work in it, but we want to make it bigger than what is currently right now in the market. And there are some bottlenecks, for example, processing of the kernels, quality of the oil. So those are the kind of things we are looking, adding value to that high-end product so that you can be internationally competitive. And on some products like aloe ferox, we're supporting smallholders in the Eastern Cape. And one of the problems in aloe ferox is the stability of the product when you get the aloe ferox product. So we are looking at it as a preservative for most of in the cosmetic industry. In the cannabis, we all heard the president started in his speech last week, Thursday. He spoke about cannabis. The CSR has a permit on cannabis, and fortunately, I was one of the people who also is advising the minister on this particular project. So what we are doing at the CSR is mainly to help in the extraction processes. So we're going to develop simple extraction processes that will help small growers at least to be able to do it so that it doesn't become illegal. We are also working with the government to see how we can regularize those smallholders that they call them illegal right now, but to see how we can put them in the formal stream so that they also benefit from this particular market, and we are also developing analytical techniques, and we also hope to develop improved food products and nutraceuticals and cosmetics from cannabis. These are just a few products. I think we have a stand also outside, which I will urge you to go and look at it. These are some of the products that we've developed at the CSL. How we do it is that, like I said before, an entrepreneur comes, we give him or she the technology background, and also work with the Innovation Hub to give that person also the business background so that they can start their own small enterprises. And that's how we're going to be creating jobs. These are some of the companies. The list is long. And these are our facilities at the CSR. It is a high-class technology facility. These are some of the products. We work also with communities. We've worked especially on nutrition. We've worked with University of Forte on a nutritive product. We wanted to produce a nutritive drink, which came out. We also have a sample outside there, which you can see. And here we use our indigenous vegetables and fruits to produce a very high nutritive drink, which is fortified with most of what you see here in the slide. And basically, what we are doing here is, is using our indigenous products to produce a product like this. And this is very high nutritive and fortified with most of what we have here, indigenous vegetables and fruits. These are some of the teams. When you do training, we come there, you spend maybe a month or two. We have short and long-term training programs at the CSR that we can train entrepreneurs. It's a group right from Botswana that came to the CSR to learn about bioprocessing technologies. And these are more of our facilities. It's a 100 million rand facility, so it's a huge investment. But when we work with small entrepreneurs, we try to look at what is possible for that small entrepreneur, what the entrepreneur can replicate when he goes back home to start a small industry.